Hey, everybody, what's up? It is the Burress Law Life and Friends podcast. It's been a minute since we've been on. It's been a few weeks, but we are back, and we will be on we'll be filming at least the next 3 weeks, and I'm super excited for today's guest, my good buddy, Matt Hamilton.
So wait a minute. I just heard you've not been able to find a guest for 3 weeks, and I agreed.
6.
It was Snowmageddon.
Yeah.
No, man, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate you inviting me over.
Do you know what episode you are?
No idea.
9.5.
No, wait, no. How do you do halves?
So if it's a legal episode, it's a whole. If it's non-legal, it's a half, because the halves don't go on our website. We kind of do.
And legal. As a lawyer, you're the only person who cares whether it's a legal episode. Or not.
You darn right. You darn right. So, man, it's great to have you on.
Well, thank you, man.
How are you doing?
We're doing really well.
Tell me what's going on.
Lots. We're just 7 kids, ranching, running a restaurant, running a butcher shop and market, dreaming up new business ideas. Someone asked me if I sleep. I said, about 4 or 5 hours a day. Yes, we're
seriously. Is that what you try to get?
No, good Lord, no. But sometimes it feels like that's all I get.
Yeah.
Maybe undisturbed. One of the kids always gets up in the middle of the night. So yeah, 4 hours straight.
7 kids.
7. Yeah, 19 to 2, 19, 17, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. I'm in every phase of life.
So I've got 3, and I would love to have a 4th, and my wife has agreed. She just said I've got to find another woman, though.
Well, you could adopt. You could adopt. Maybe
we could adopt. Yeah.
The surrogate mother. That was a thing. Used to, you pay someone, you had a surrogate mother. You could do that.
Yeah. Have you adopted?
No, we've not. No. We've those are all mine.
That's really incredible. I mean, your wife must be an incredible woman.
She's awesome.
Because
my great wife.
The restaurant,
and we homeschool and
okay, because the restaurant business, those are hard hours.
It is. So my buddy Rick's wife is the first person I heard say is restaurant widow. She's a restaurant widow. Yeah. So, but we've got a great team, and so we're able to take off. I'm actually taking off from the restaurant tonight, and going to go spend time with her tonight, her and the family tonight. So, but I take off other times. So we're off on Monday. We're closed on Monday, and I don't work on Sunday. And those are it's our weekend. Sunday, Monday's our weekend, and then I have other days. I spend Friday mornings, Saturday mornings at home with the family, and that's our family time. And ranch days kind of a lot heavy day Wednesdays. We do a lot of stuff out on the ranch on Wednesdays. We'll take the kids out there, and they love to go out and do stuff on the ranch.
So we've been good buddies for a while, but I don't really know the whole background. So let's just so the audience knows. Number one, you started local Yocal restaurant. Shoot, I'm going to guess it was 4 years ago.
That's close. It feels like 4 because COVID counts as 2 years, but it was 2.5. So it was 2.5 years ago. We opened October 18. So 19 was our first full year open. We're just getting our legs under us, and then the Rona came around and presented some challenges. The butcher shop was 10 years old the first week of December. So it just had its 10th birthday. So grew up in southern Oklahoma, north of Durant, Oklahoma. Grew up in agricultural farming and ranching, but really the agribusiness. My family had a hometown feed, seed, chemical fertilizer dealer, your feed store, buy everything from a 7/16 bolt to Dr. Pepper and Snickers. Everything, one-stop shopping in your hometown of 250 people. Left southern Oklahoma, had a massive decline in agriculture in the late 90s. They changed the Farm Bill in 1996. Our peanut production went away, which is what our family did. We were in commercial peanut business. And I so moved to Texas to make a living. And I always joke there's 2 reasons you move to Texas from Oklahoma, and that's robust job economy, great job market, and women with all their teeth. Crystal meth. Bad
Did
drug.
you meet your wife here in Texas?
Well,
because if she's an Oklahoma girl, you're going to have a problem.
The first Heather was an Oklahoma girl, but the second Heather is a Texas girl. I married 2 Heathers, yes. Not at the same time. Not at the same time.
Okay, I was confused.
That's why there's a gap in the age of the kids. So I was married and moved to Texas, and I found I upgraded Heather's. I mean, no disrespect.
So the current Heather.
Current Heather. She's
Texan?
an Aggie. She's an Aggie.
And she's a Texan?
She's a Texan, yeah.
Okay.
She's from north of Houston. We got her out of Houston as fast as she could. So I moved to Texas, and I'm in commercial, construction, doing text dot work, right away, pipeline, power line, right away work. And then I got into construction equipment. And it's when I met my wife, Heather, who's really into health and wellness and fitness and eating right. And I was into Dr. Pepper and Mrs. Baird's Honey Buns. So through meeting her and getting aligned with our diets, I lost a lot of weight, feeling great. And, we were shopping at farmers markets. It's 2008 and 9, and farmers markets are coming into being.
Economy crashing.
Well, almost. So that's how we the genius business model. So we decide as the economy's crashing, commercial construction equipment doesn't look good. So what better time to start a premium meat business than in a down economy, right? Started in a down economy. So we started the farmer's market. We're going to sell meat in the farmer's market. We're going to raise cattle. I originally thought we'd be able to move back to Oklahoma. We're going to move back to the ranch. I'm just trying to figure out how to get back to ranching for a living. So we're going to sell meat at the farmer's market. Genius business model. Sell meat at a place that's open 4 hours a day, 1 day a week, 5 months a year. That's got problems. In an open air market. We could realize we needed a place to sell meat. We needed a place to cut meat. So we opened a butcher shop here in downtown McKinney. Obviously, 2010 is when we opened.
Northeast side of the square.
North of the square, North Tennessee Street. Everett Ham had built that building out as a butcher shop in 1984. So we went into a lot of brand new stuff. Old equipment was old but good. So we started out, selling meat, and we thought, well, we'll just be Heather and I, and she had Dean and our newborn baby strapped to her, and we'll just be, we'll get a full-time butcher, and we'll just be a little mom and pop business. 2 years later, 10, 12 employees, wholesaling meat to 30 restaurants. It kind of spiraled up. Then we transitioned out of the wholesale meat business because it's really fun to chase money every week. It's
no, it's not.
When your wife is your CFO, yeah, and she hands you a accounts receivable statement every Wednesday night and says, "Hello, dear. Here's how much money your friends owe you. You need to go see them tomorrow if you want to make payroll." True stories. Go chase money every Thursday, and so we transitioned out of that, and the butcher shop was doing okay along the way, but we got to really doing great, and we started Steak 101. So Steak 101 was something we dreamed up selling Groupon, because Groupon was this huge thing in like 2013, 2014, about 2012, 2013. And, the way it works is it's half off list, and they get half of that. It's a great business model for them, horrible business model in a low margin business. So people don't understand in the grocery business, 12 to 14% gross margin is all that exists. So do some quick math and you can't do that. So I did a class so that I could teach people about the beef industry and have a product we could actually sell on Groupon. You've been multiple times, I think. So that's what really kind of made us. And then that led to Steak 101 dinners, that led to a barbecue trailer on the side of the road, that led to opening a restaurant.
But it's not just, and I want to get into the restaurant too, but it's not just that. I mean, and again, we've never had dinner together at night or anything like that. But, and I would like to, by the way, just positioning statement there, but not that I'm against it.
It's amazing when you have a butcher shop, how many people invite you over for dinner at their house. And hey, if you don't mind, could you bring the steaks?
No, but I just think, and this happens a lot though. I'm a super busy guy. I run into a lot of other super busy people, and I really think a lot of them. And sometimes I think the feeling's mutual, but we don't have a lot of time to do things. And if you're in the restaurant business, I mean, I know how hard that is.
It is a challenging business. People say, well, why'd you get in the restaurant business? I say, well, it's better than farming. We work indoors, same hours, but it's air conditioned.
Yeah, exactly. So and I remember I was chairman of the EDC for 3 years, and one of those years you came to me and told me about this idea that you had for the local Yocal restaurant. And I remember telling you, I think that sounds like a great idea. And I remember saying,
I thought you said I was crazy.
yeah, I remember saying to myself, this is a terrible idea because businesses, restaurants had failed at that location because you're on where you are. You're on the other side of Highway 5 on Virginia.
Yeah.
In the old Louisiana Street Grill.
That's right. It's Louisiana Street Grill.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
right.
And I just thought it's an opportunity zone, but shoot, it looks like the opportunity may be far away.
You know, and we knew, so the secret to being early is don't be too early. And I had concerns that maybe I was too early. I thought we had enough sizzle with our name. We had enough name recognition. We had enough of a following that we could get people to come over. And I felt like, heck, if nothing else, I've got a parking lot. You can park. So ironically, we were going to just be a barbecue place. We had great success with barbecue. My buddy Tim Hutchins is killing it with barbecue up the road. So I just wanted to be a little bit more upscale barbecue than Tim, and who does a great job. He's still a great friend of mine. But also have the grill portion. So you can have a burger, you can have a steak. Because the problem with barbecue is when you run out, you're out. So that was the secret to success on the barbecue trailer when we were over on Custer Road. Then kind of God puts in my head, Adam West. All right, need to call Adam West. Adam West, one of the top chefs in Dallas, and he was running a little place called The Porch, was just locked in and solid. And they had been one of my customers. So through a set of circumstances, his sister comes to our small group. Turns out his sister and one of my wife's really close friends grew up together, and Adam's one of her best friends. And my wife literally on the couch looks at me and goes, you need to call him tomorrow. I called him the next day, and a few days later he was here and looked at the location with me, and he bought in, and he was in a box. He couldn't do anything creative where he was at. It was very corporate culture. So he believed in McKinney, and he came up, and we went from going to be a little barbecue place that might cook a steak to, I say, the nicest place you can get barbecue and the most casual place you can get a bone-in Wagyu ribeye.
Oh, I agree. By the way, I mean, 10 years ago, I found the Porch, got invited there or whatnot, and walked in. I was blown away.
Super consistent.
Yeah, I mean, very consistent, very good, quick. I mean, it just had all, and it had a good vibe, and that's sometimes really hard to find. Of course, you have that. You have that at your place. So I did not know he came from the Porch.
Yeah, he was at a little joint called Hotel Zaza before that, little shady dive. You may have heard of kind of two burgers and stuff. So he's just a great human being. I think the thing. So here's what I learned when I sold to restaurants. 20-30% of the people who work in the food and beverage industry are great people who have the ability to make great money and show up and work in a job that they love. They're passionate about it. 70 to 80% of them work in the industry because mostly the industry doesn't drug test and they can do what they want to do. And it's not a great moral place to work. And it really aggravates the 20 to 30%. So I said, I'm going to build a restaurant and only hire the 20 to 30%. So that's what we've built. And we have great people working for us.
Oh, I probably can't think of her name, and there's been several, but one really stood out. She was from like Wyoming or Montana.
Yep, still with us. Absolutely, moved down from Montana. Name? Shania.
Yeah. So, and there, by the way, there's like 4 more like her, but I mean, just like really presentable, really good, responsive,
hardworking country girl from Montana.
I've never been. I was never a waiter. Should have done it. I think everybody, for the young people. I mean, I think being a waiter or waitress is really important because I think number one, I think you develop a little bit of grace for the restaurant business and how hard it is, but you've got some real stars, and I think it's hard to recruit in my business. I can't imagine how hard it is to recruit good people.
It is super hard, and we had some great waiters going into COVID. And then we were closed. So a year ago, we had to close our dining room. When we came back out of that, I had some seasoned waiters who were, I would say the average age of my waiter was 40, 43 years old. I had some 30 to 50-year-old waiters, and they chose to take the unemployment paid more They didn't want to come back to work. It's like, yeah, we're just going to draw the unemployment. So we took our younger staff. We took some hosts. My daughter was a hostess, and she said, "Dad, I'll be a waitress." She's now our top waitress. I mean, she kills it. I won't brag on my daughter, but she is killing it, making great money, almost too good of money. A 19-year-old probably shouldn't make as good of money as she makes, right? Because she's so good at it. And we've got several other of our staff's kids work in the business, and they all do a great job. And it's because, we train them up. And sometimes it's better, and you've probably seen this, to take someone who is fresh that can come in and learn your ways is easier than going and fixing all the bad habits they learned somewhere else.
Sure. Yeah. I think if any of the folks watching haven't been to local Yocal, on Virginia, or Louisiana, same thing, other side of Highway 5, you're missing out. I mean, you're absolutely missing out, especially if you've got someone in from out of town, like a business thing, and I've been over a bunch of times where I bring somebody who's from out of town, and man, it is, to me, it is McKinney. It is a McKinney experience. It is really upscale McKinney, but yet it's casual, and to me, that's important.
Yeah, and that's what we hear. Like, so what we're going for is we want to create this quintessential Texas experience, which is Texas barbecue, wood-fired grilled steaks, a great burger, great bourbons, as a local experience, a local flavor with a vibe so you could come in dressed like you are now, or you could wear a Tommy Bahama shirt and flip-flops this summer, and you don't feel out of place. You don't feel out of place either way. And it's that relaxed atmosphere that's not super casual. It's not, bottom of the rung. It's still nice, but you can come in, you feel welcome.
And then you've got this, I'm not a connoisseur, I'm learning, but you've got this whiskey thing going on where you've got some like real, I don't know whiskeys, but my buddies tell me, they're like, Hamilton's got this, and this. I'm like, nobody can even get this. Let's go over to Hamilton's place and have this. So that's all I know.
Well, so bourbon got to be my thing a few years ago, and so I was kind of a craft beer guy, then became a wine guy, then got into bourbon. People started giving me really nice bourbons, and then we partnered with this up and coming distillery out of Denison, Texas, called Iron Root, to do our own private barrel. So we'd go up. We're going to do an Evolution barrel. So we kind of came up with the idea together to pick a barrel. It's our barrel. And they bottle a quarter of it, and we put it back in the warehouse. And it continues to age for 3 months, and we bought, right? So when we first started, they said, well, why don't we do this every 6 months? We'll bottle a quarter of this bourbon every 6 months. Okay. Do you think I can sell a quarter of a barrel of bourbon every 6 months? Should be able to. I mean, I think you can. They said, you know what? We can play with it, but let's see how it goes. It doesn't go bad. Well, we opened October of 2018, and we learned by Christmas that we cannot sell a quarter barrel of bourbon every 6 months. We can do it every 30 days. So we have to have a whole lot of barrels in rotation. So when you come in, there's always this Evolution barrel project where it's a barrel that maybe you've had it 3 months ago, but it's older. It's always changing. And we make an old fashioned that's just a fantastic old fashioned. Only 3 ingredients in an old fashioned, and people tend to screw it up. I don't know how. It's simple syrup and 2 bitters. It's bitters and simple syrup. It's all in old fashioned, and people are able to screw it up unless it's a Matt Hamilton old fashioned. Matt Hamilton old fashioned is old fashioned. Hold the simple syrup, hold the bitters, which is whiskey on ice. And it's actually, so we're going to put that on the menu next month.
I might have had that today.
I don't know anything about it, and we're going to put that on the menu starting here, I think, next week. So we went and picked a very special barrel that we're going to serve cask strength. So it's going to come to you cask strength. So the bourbon that we had today was 100 proof, bottled and bond strength, 100 proof. For comparison, the Jack that everybody loves is 87. So we're
does everybody really love the Jack?
I'm just throwing out a name. I don't know. My father-in-law loves it. That's what he loves it. So 100 proof. This is going to be 122 to 122 proof, full barrel strength. So it's going to be a little hot. Now it's going to come into Glencairn so you can taste it as it sets in the warehouse. And then you're going to get served one of those big cubes in a rocks glass, and where you're going to be able to pour it on the cube and then experience it as it opens up and settles down. So it's kind of a little whiskey journey right there at your table. That's Iron Root. So it turns out here's the way the liquor business works. They won't give you anything because they can't give you anything free. This is a genius business model. When you legislate it, you can do this. We'll let you buy things. If you buy enough of the other product, we'll let you buy things. Well, since we sell a lot of whiskey, they let us buy things like Blanton's and the 1879 line and all these hard to get Pappies. We usually have a Pappy, a 12. We try to keep a 15, but it goes really fast.
Yes, Pappy was the one that my buddies were all talking about that you had. It's super expensive, right? But
it's crazy. But what I love to go is, you know what? I'm out of Pappy 15, but let me pour you Widow Jane out of upstate New York. Or why don't you try something from the Buffalo Trace group called Old Bardstown? Or, so we get to sample a lot of different bourbons. So there's a group out of the Duckhorn Wine family out of California. They decided to open a distillery a few years ago. It's called Redwood Empire. So every event they have a rye, they have a bourbon, and they have an American whiskey, which is a blended whiskey. And so to be bourbon, it has to be 51% corn mash build in a new American oak barrel. So if you reuse a barrel, that's American whiskey. If you use an English oak barrel, that's American whiskey. So if you change any of those factors, it's an American whiskey. So they have an American whiskey. So they're all named after large redwood trees. But it's fantastic whiskey. And the guy from the distillery came into our restaurant, and he said, "Yeah, we're here to meet with you, talk to you about this bourbon from out of California." I was like, "Cool, so that's great. Man, that's great stuff." So you're just in town. You're in town calling on accounts. Yeah, we're here. We're just calling on 3 accounts actually. Oh, you're calling on 3 people in McKinney? No, we're calling on 3 people in DFW.
Wow.
So wait a minute. You flew here from California to talk to 3 people in DFW, and I'm one of them. How did that happen? He goes, "Well, because I'm in the industry, I get to see your sales report, and I see all the other stuff you're selling. So we thought this might be up your alley." So he said, "We're not going to go waste our time at somewhere that's selling a whole bunch of low end stuff." So we've become known as a bourbon place. We've got a great selection. So some places have like 300 bourbons. I like to say we weeded out all those other ones for you, and we keep about 50 to 60 of the best. So you don't have to go through 300 to find the top 50. But we've got a great tequila selection, a great rum selection, a great vodka selection. So it's we got good stuff.
So here's what I like about you, and I don't get a chance to tell you this, but you're one of those doers. I mean, you are a guy who I have never heard you complain. And we've talked quite a bit, but I never hear you complain. And if there's an issue or there's a roadblock, your mindset is, I am going to solve the problem and get out in front of it.
Yeah.
And my impression is that's exactly what you did with this COVID thing.
Well, I appreciate that. My wife has to hear my my whining or my complaining at home. That's only I vent to her.
That's fair.
Our poor wives.
That's fair.
But no, absolutely. Look, my mom's side, her family, they were always glass was half empty, and my dad's side's always half full. I'm gonna tell you who had more fun in life. The half full crowd enjoys life. So we just want to be that, and people like to run with winners. I mean, nobody wants to be around a Debbie Downer. So COVID hit, and we just, all the words, we pivoted, we redirected. I just wanted to survive. I wanted to survive. So we started selling produce boxes. I was quick to realize that there was all this food trapped in the food distribution system. So in the world of food, how food gets to Americans, there is one lane called retail grocery. There's another road called wholesale grocery to restaurants, wholesale food distribution, and they don't interconnect. The trucks that pull up to grocery stores do not pull up to restaurants and vice versa. They're two very different worlds. Packaging is different. The SKU, everything is different. So a good friend of mine has Chef's Produce down in Dallas, Richard Torres, and I called him and said, hey, man, what are you doing? Because when restaurants closed, it wasn't like the trucks weren't still rolling. You got forward contracts on produce. You don't just turn the spigot off. So I called and said, hey, you got some produce? Yeah, I got produce. So I said, hey, I'm going to start doing these boxes. He goes, man, I am too. So we started working together. I started doing a produce box. God, they were $20 or $30. I forget now. And we started doing a mixed produce box with a dozen eggs and a bag of beans or rice, but you could get produce. We started doing that. Of course, the butcher shop was great. We moved employees out of the restaurant over to the butcher shop. My food trailer, which had not been in use for the year and a half that we'd been open at the restaurant, we cleaned it up, put it over on Custer Road, and started serving barbecue to go. So we were surviving, and then as the light at the end of the tunnel started to come out that we're going to be opening soon, but 25% capacity. There's no way you can staff it. So when you build a restaurant, you build the kitchen around the size of the restaurant, you build the menu, everything is efficiency. You have stations, everything is built so that you serve the guests you have, whether that's 30 people over at Rye or, 300 at a large place. So we seat 120 people. So everything's built to serve 120 people, 3 meals a night. Not 25 people, 3 meals. It just won't work. So we have a large parking lot. We turned it into a patio. So that patios were legal. So I put a huge structure, nice tent up. Also at the same time, I figured out my musician buddies, they were dying. No place to play music. All the places you play music were closed because a lot of places that have live music are bars, and they're just closed. So we started calling all of our friends in the Texas music scene, started doing these outdoor concerts. We actually had a record June. So in the middle of COVID, we had a blockbuster June. And then I've really been doing well since.
Yeah, I never got to make one of those outdoor music events, but a lot of the guys in our coffee group did, and they really liked it.
It was really, it was so amazing. The first is all drive-in, the first 2 weekends, right? And there were drive-in concerts, and we were basically like, imagine a Sonic that was parking 180 cars. That's what we were. We were Sonic with like 140 to 180 cars. And I had a gooseneck stage. I drug a gooseneck trailer down. Got a friend of mine's gooseneck that would fit out there. I actually used a forklift to put it in place where it was at. And that was our stage. So a friend of mine shows up one night, and I've got the speaker to play music. I've got the speakers set up. He's like, hey, Matt, what are these speakers back here? Why are they pointed the wrong way? I said, no, both parking lots will be full. You're playing in 2 directions. You're not just playing to the concrete parking lot to the south. It's like, you're kidding. It's like, no. So we literally play a song facing south, play a song facing north. And it was music in the round. And I still have people come in the restaurant and go, those first weekends were the best. Everybody had been cooped up. People are sitting in the bed of their pickups or lawn chairs behind their SUV, and their kids are running around or sitting on a blanket playing games. And it was really, the atmosphere was unbelievable.
And that's the thing, because I know we talked several times, and your whole deal was you were solution oriented. And I think in business, you have to be that way. If your staff does nothing but hear you complain and moan and like you said earlier, be a Debbie Downer, it does not inspire them.
Yeah. And our staff, and they appreciate it. They tell me a lot they appreciate it. We really laid off very few people. We moved people over to the butcher shop. We gave people the option to deliver food, to be food delivered, run food deliveries. We did the produce boxes. What we did on the produce boxes, we just took the money that made. It really wasn't about making money for the business. That money went to the employees. It gave people produce and something to eat. It got produce that was going to go into a dumpster into people's hands, and it got my employees some income. So they appreciated that. And, we fight hard to but we live with. You're talking about how hard the restaurant business is. I spend more hours per week with Adam West than I do my wife. Whatever that says that we're marching through life together. So these people really become your family, and over the course of time, they see how you treat them, how you treat others, how you treat guests, and we really try to take care of our staff. They're the backbone of everything. And I tell people that work for me, I say, man, I'll have your back. I'll have your butt if you mess up, but I've got your back first. And when a waiter walks out on the floor and they know that just pain in the rear guest, that nothing will suit, everything's a problem, people have been trained if they complain enough, they get free stuff. They know that I'm going to go out, talk to the guest, and if they aren't made happy, I say, you know what? Hey, guys, here's the deal. We're not meeting your expectations, so all of this, it's on me, and all I need you to do is leave and not come back. Because I've got people waiting out the door who want your table. You don't want to be here. It's obvious. Amen. I'm so sorry. It's us. We did not meet your expectations, but I've got a lobby full of people who love us, and I need you to leave.
And, that's a very real
Doesn't happen very often, but I will do it.
Totally,
I will fire a customer.
I totally agree because, there are some people, and it's rare. It's 1%, maybe less than 1%. Probably is less than 1%. There's a very small percentage that you simply cannot please.
It is
and
unbelievable.
It has nothing to do with you. It
and
has
I tell our
everything
people,
to do with their life.
We serve 7,000 people a month, and usually it's about 3 to 5. There are 3 to 5 per month that are just stand out. They're just a problem. It's too cold, it's too hot, nothing suits them. It is unbelievable. And hey, we can make mistakes. The other side is if we screw up, I will own it. My staff will own it. We will do backflips to make it right. It happens. We are not perfect. And if we screw up, we'll own it. But we all know the people. But I tell my staff, don't, because we get down on the 5. And we forget about the 6,995.
I'm the same way. If I
used to keep me up at night, and I'm done with it.
It's hard though. I mean, if I walk into a room and there's 99 people that like me and there's one that doesn't, I worry about that one.
I hear you. I'm there's a lot of that in me. But, especially when it was just the butcher shop, and Heather and I used to stay up at night. We get a 1-star review, and someone was whatever, something, and we'd stay up half the night worried about it.
What drives me crazy, because the worst review we've ever gotten, we've got a couple of 4-star reviews, and neither one of them were clients of ours. And they're like local guide people, and I can't help it. I respond on there and I go, hey, you're not a client of ours. Would you call me? Because I would address any concern you had. You've never been a client.
My favorite 1-star review, a guy came in at 7:00 on a Friday night, and it was going to be 45 minutes before he could get a table. And he left and gave us a 1-star review that it was ridiculous. Who would wait 45 minutes for a table to eat somewhere? I guess Whataburger. I guess he's usually over at Whataburger on Friday.
Hang on, let us build another wing over here real quick for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is that it's all about me society. I guess I said, I didn't realize who you were. Let me throw these people out of my restaurant so you can have a seat.
Yeah. So the branding of Matt Hamilton. You are a brand.
Wow. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. Tell me about that. Is it just, hey, I am who I am, I'm going to project that, or is
you get what you see. When you see what you get. I don't think about myself as a brand. We don't have meetings with my team and go, what's Matt Hamilton doing this week? I don't think about it. I probably should think about it more.
And maybe I'm mentioning this.
I appreciate that though.
I was getting a garment the other day. I was down at a suit place, and I hate wearing suits. I wouldn't wear this if my wife didn't tell me to, but I'm down there and I'm getting something, and I was down because we had to let somebody go, and the suit guy said, he just in the course of conversation, he goes, man, you are a brand. and you're important. And I mean, he was trying to pump me up. And by the time I got out there, like, you know what? I guess I am. And things aren't perfect, and I'm not perfect. And there are days when, you know, you're not happy with the way things are going and how things, you know, how well things are going or whatever the case may be. But I tell you, by the time I left, though, I was thinking, I really appreciated everything that he told me. And I think if you can be true to yourself, which is what I try to do, you're better off in the long run.
Yeah, man, that's really awesome. That guy, you know, blessed you with that. And I appreciate you saying that I'm a brand. I guess sometimes people, my wife hates it when, oh, you're local yokel. Yeah, I'm local yokel. But
it's more than that. I mean, I think when, and again, you're usually in your own place, but when I think you're one of those guys, when you come in the room, you know, people notice you, people appreciate the authenticity, and when you leave, they remember you. And not everybody can do that.
Yeah. Well, you know, and I really appreciate that. And I'll tell you, in the restaurant industry, Al Burnett, great friend of mine, and he has that gift. I think some people just have the gift of hospitality, and I'm blessed with the gift of hospitality, and I think that probably shows through. But, you know, I appreciate that authenticity is absolutely what we want to be, whether that's authentic food, authentic people who work for us, and me. And, you know, I'll share with my staff when things are not good. And, you know, our wives are so important. You're talking about being that brand, and it's important because everybody has a bad day or off day. But my wife, how many did your wife ever say this? This is my favorite thing my wife says to me, goes, "You're not going to wear that, are you?" Me? No, I was just going to start the truck in this, honey. I wasn't going to dare go out to the restaurant in this. Oh, what, this shirt? No. What's wrong with this shirt? You don't ever hear that, do you? You're not going to wear that, are you?
Yeah.
No. I was just testing you. What should I wear?
I love it.
You know, in my fashion, I got the hospitality jean double. I don't have the fashion jean. My wife will go, "That jacket didn't go with that shirt. I'll be right back." Oh, it's always so funny. But,
so I'm curious. So we got restaurant and we got the butcher shop. Where do things go from here?
Oh man. Yeah. So, cause I didn't have enough to do. You collect people. So you collect people, and I've developed all these friends in the Western industry. So American Hats, we got to be friends with those guys, and I'm a brand ambassador for them and promote their hats. They're made in Bowie, Texas. And then we got to be friends with the guy with Double H boots, then Rio some Mercedes boots. And then along the way, I came up with this idea we're going to move the butcher shop behind the restaurant. And it's this big, huge space. Like, what am I going to fill up? I'm going to go from a 900 square foot butcher shop to a 5,000 square foot retail butcher shop. Like, ooh, we could have like local yokel branded gear. I could sell hats. My wife wants my 30 or 40 hats out of the house. Anyway, I could keep my hats and I could have a hat store. And we could have like this local yokel outfitters. Well, then it got shortened to LY Outfitters. And it's like, this is a back burner thing that was just kind of in the back of my head mostly. And a guy that we know comes to me and goes, "Matt, I've got this building and people just, the turnover. I'm just tired. I'm tired of people coming and going. Won't you come over here and open like a bar or something in it?" Well, you can't have a bar in McKinney, and I'm not really a bar. He goes, "Well, just something." I said, "I do have an idea. I have this LY Outfitters concept." He goes, "What is it?" I was like, "Well, premium menswear. There's nothing for men to do. So I've gathered up all these American-made lines of apparel, and I'd love to." He goes, "Let's do it." And he gave me a great opportunity. So we're opening in just a few weeks, LY Outfitters.
Where?
So, on the square in the building, the bank building that has the big eagle on top of it. Built in 1885, ironically the same year that the livery stable was built where my butcher shop's at. That was a livery stable. So we're opening up at 110 North Tennessee. It's technically 110 Tennessee. It's Tennessee proper for you history nerds out there. But it's on 110 Tennessee Street. The got the Greek Roman columns out front. Beautiful space, very elegant. We're gonna have so many great things. Kind of American hats. We're gonna have 2 lines of handmade boots made in Texas. So the old Nocona boot factory, the old Nocona plant up in Nocona, not Nocona. It's Nocona boots from Nocona, Texas. We've got Fenolio boots, the founding family of Nocona, Texas, hand making boots in Nocona, Texas. Rios of Mercedes, the Rios family in Mercedes. They've not been there very long. Only been making boots there since 1892, so they're just getting started. So they've been there for a while. And then Schaefer out of Fort Worth, American made. This is a Schaefer shirt, so you could wear this as a shirt or make drapes out of it. I don't know. Paisley's my favorite color, by the way.
Coming back in style too.
Paisley's my favorite color. But we picked up the Combs Ranch wear line, and you're like, Combs Ranch? I've never heard of that.
Wait, is this the Yellowstone?
The Yellowstone, yeah. How'd you know that? We didn't talk about this. How'd you know that?
No, I think my wife thinks Kevin Costner looks pretty good in jeans.
Yeah. Well, he wears an American hat and Combs Ranch jeans, so I'll put you in some Combs Ranch jeans. It's not Kevin Costner, it's the jeans. So this guy, Matthew Combs, his college roommate, was a screenwriter for Yellowstone. And he calls him, he says, hey, I've written this screenplay. No one will give me the time of day for apparel for this show. He goes, I love your jeans. I want to put your jeans in it, but I need a full line of apparel. He goes, dude, we hadn't talked in a few years. I've got a full apparel line. So they throw all this wear at it, and boom, now it's the biggest thing going. So his buddy calls him about 2 months ago. So Matthew comes telling me the story. So my buddy calls me and says, season 4 coming out in June, we were reviewing the amount of product placement that Combs Ranch is getting in the show. And that's probably worth about $1.5 to $2 million. He's like, but if I wrote you that big check with all the other money you're making, I mean, you'd have to just donate it. He just laughed. He said, look, I'm not going to charge you because you believed in me when nobody else would. I just wanted you to know the value. So they've just kind of blown up together. It's the fastest growing jeans company in the United States. Arizona cotton, sewn in California. I was shocked that they still make things in California. I thought they just made policy in California, but apparently they actually make things in California. But we're probably going to get them moved to Texas soon. Very soon. Literally, they may be having to move their factory to Texas. But great stuff. And once you get the jeans, they're so comfortable. You're addicted.
I can't wait because I don't know if you've heard, but I've lost a little bit of weight, 23, 24 pounds.
Well, I've found it. Okay. You lost it. I found it.
Well, I walk out today and I had the jeans that I haven't been able to fit in about a year. And I walk out and I do the Ric Flair. You ever know the Ric Flair cut and strut? I do the Ric Flair. Yeah, I'm doing the Ric Flair cut and strut. And my wife looks up and I'm like, check out the skinny jeans. And she goes, you brought those out about 1 month too soon.
No, ouch.
So I'm feeling it. Everything is just really tight, and so I can't wait to get it's Kimes,
Kimes,
Kimes. Yeah. And you're right. Again, I've said this before, but we don't talk about what we're going to talk about before.
I'm really impressed because most people don't know the Yellowstone deal. It has a Longhorn kind of brand.
Yeah, we love that show. We really like it.
Great quality stuff. But everything else we've done, we've tried to find local. So this is mostly going to be American made. There's only really one thing that comes to mind that's not made in the United States, and that's a pair of Game Guard. They're headquartered in Argyle, but they just can't get the product made in the United States. So they're outdoor shirts. They're the microfiber, the fishing shirts you know and love, except with a company based here in Texas. We've got Bed Stew, which is very non-Western footwear, and the mayor wears Bed Stew boots, organic leather, made in Arizona. So we're going to have a lot of things that are crossover. Gambert shirts out of New Jersey. So you can come in and you can pick your shirt and pick your collar liner, your cuff liner, and we'll measure you order your shirts up or get them off the rack. I've got some cashmere coming out of Italy this fall.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So I'm not great on downtown. Is this on the north side of the square?
It's on the east side of the square.
East side of the square. Okay. All right. East side of the square. What's that fancy sandwich place that I never go to?
Patina Green?
Yeah, is it by there?
Just 2 doors down.
2 doors down.
2 doors down. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just stumble north from the Kilt and hang here on the right.
And so when is this open?
We're gonna do a little VIP shopping for our friends at the end of March, and we're gonna crack it open the 1st of April.
I hope I'm on that list.
You're on the list. You're on the list. It's 20% over list for our friends, and then
I love it.
Discount for everybody else.
Hope the charge card works.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So
we take Diners Club cards.
So one of the things that I think people would be interested in as we start to kind of wrap it up is I kind of picture you living on a ranch somewhere, a few miles outside of town. What I mean, but I have no idea where do you live? Where you be staying?
I'm staying in the historic district of McKinney. We're trying to get moved out to the ranch. I've got a ranch lease just that's in McKinney. Believe it or not, there's 350-acre ranch in McKinney.
In McKinney, that
I run cattle. It's in McKinney.
It's
I think I control one of the larger blocks of land in McKinney.
You said you lease it?
I lease it. Yeah, so I'm running cattle on it, and we take care of it. And we want to get moved out there. But I live in the historic district, and it's really interesting when I bring a 32-foot triple axle stock trailer home and park it on the street or back it into my driveway. I have a large lot, so I can actually fit a 1-ton pickup and a triple axle 32-foot trailer into my driveway. And yeah, so probably not very many people with like tractors at their house or stock trailers or horses. I had to leave yesterday morning I left my house at 4, and I saddled a horse at 4:30, and I told my wife, I said, what if I just bring the horse home the night before and tie him in the yard? And she goes, no. I said, I'll just long line him in the yard. She said, no.
That's great.
No, just get up early and go.
That's great. So, one thing I wanted to make sure we hit on was there's a lot of people who talk about buy McKinney and they actually do a really good job. And then other people I think are just either tone deaf or totally uneducated, and I'm not saying that saltgrass is bad, but just talk to us a little bit about how important it is to support small business and also, in specific to the restaurant industry, a non-chain independent place.
So first off, the chains, most of that money leaves town. So the studies have been done when you buy, whether it's a local small retailer or a local restaurant, its revenue turns. So that dollar has 3 times the impact of a dollar spent at a chain because so much of that money leaves town. So the chains, everyone's beat down. Everyone the whole way, from the guy delivering the napkins to the food service companies, just nobody's making any money. Everything's just beat down to the lowest common denominator. Anything you can do to make it cheaper, do it now. And there's just not the focus on quality. So one, you're getting a better quality product when you're buying from a local restaurant, but the local restaurants, local stores, there's nothing more you can do to build up your local economy more than shop local, because we're buying things locally. And that money stays in the community. So whereas if you threw out saltgrass. So if you were to go saltgrass and spend whatever on a steak, I've not been to saltgrass in like 10 years. So if you spend $40 on a steak, well that steak came from who knows where. If you shop with us, it's going to go stay in our pipeline of our small producers. That money's going back through the butcher shop, back up the chain to our local producer network, our grower network of ranchers that we know. People are doing
McKinney,
things right.
Greenville.
Yeah, it's a big area here with the grass fed. The Wagyu program's a little bit larger, but the Wagyu program is still mostly Texas and central United States, Texas, Oklahoma, and Iowa. Yeah. So it makes a difference versus your money going out all over the place.
Dude, I've got a client, and she had a brain injury, and she sold you eggs, and we were getting ready to put her case in demand, and I'm trying to figure out the lost wages and so forth, and she's talking to me, and she's like, yeah, we've got 125 chickens, and yeah, we sold eggs to I don't know if you've heard of it, local Yocal, and I'm like, no, I've absolutely heard of it, but yeah, so I mean, you're getting things,
and we pay more for eggs. We pay quite a bit more for eggs than you could go to a grocery store and buy an egg for. Like I pay the producer more than you can go to the grocery store and buy eggs for.
And the byproduct of that is they taste totally different. If you've never had a fresh egg versus...
Yeah, so funny story, started store. At that time, my kids were my 19 and obviously do the math, and 19, 17-year-old were then 9 and 7. My ex-wife calls me, we're about 6 months, and she goes, I don't know what you've told the kids or done I don't know what the deal is, but they won't eat eggs at my house. We've not said a word. We've not said nothing. I said, I don't really think we said anything to them. What's going on? She goes, I don't know. They just told me these eggs don't have any flavor. They don't taste right, and they won't eat the eggs. So 9-year-old and 7-year-old figured out the eggs from Stuff Mart aren't right. We're not eating them anymore.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
But it does make a difference. It makes a huge difference for your health. It really does. The amount of chemicals. I used to be in the chemical business. So the amount of chemicals and the drugs are, most people don't understand. About 80% of the cattle in the United States are given a drug that disqualifies them for export to Canada, Europe, Russia, Australia, and China. 80% of the beef you buy at a grocery store cannot be exported to China,
which is really saying something.
Yeah. So the EU standard was adopted and converted to an AU standard. Australia, they have a standard for what the residual levels for beta agonist growth regulators, hormones, and antibiotics are. And China adopted those standards, and Russia adopted those standards. And we're really, as a first world country, way behind.
My wife is an expert on medicine. She's an expert on food safety, and she is appalled at our standards versus European standards. And I'm going to simplify what her comments would be, but she's kind of blown away at times.
When I started, it was unbelievable. We started digging into it because this is the industry I come from. So we tend to be, well, as long as it's got those government letters behind it, FDA, USDA approved, blah, 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 blah. Hoorah, hoorah, we're good to go. And you go, wait a minute. None of this stuff can go to Europe. So actually I went to China 4 years ago. We sell pecans to China, and their surprisingly, their food safety standards are very high. What's interesting about China, they have two standards: domestic standard, export standard. So if you declare a product for export, it only has to meet the standards of the country it's going to. They may not let that product be sold there, but if you want to sell it to the silly Americans and they'll buy it, go ahead. You can't sell it here.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So there's the largest pork producer in the world is Chinese, and they got caught about 8 years ago giving Raptamine to a bunch of pigs. There's 180,000 pigs on this huge farm. And someone forgot to declare them for American export. They either did one or two things. They were giving them the growth regulator to try to slip them in the Chinese system, or somebody forgot to do the paperwork and declare them for export. So what do? They send the army out there and they euthanize all the pigs. 180,000 pigs. They euthanize the pigs. But if they just would have checked the box export for USA, everything would have been fine. So think about that they used a drug and China said, no, we're going to send the soldiers out and kill 180,000 pigs. Do the paperwork right next time. But if he said, but this is going to America. Oh, okay, that's fine. and people need to be aware of that.
They do.
The consumers need to know that, right? A big difference in doing business Vietnam. So the Game Guard shirts are made in Vietnam. Why is Vietnam or India so much better of a place to do foreign business than China? In China, there's just the thin veil that you own a business. You really don't own a business. They can show up tomorrow and take your business away from you. You really manage a business for the government. In Vietnam or India, you're actually dealing with a business. Actually, I was looking at some coats out of Pakistan. Like, I don't know about that. They're like, you don't understand. There's a village of 300 people that is fully supported by making these wool coats. Okay, you know what? Hey, that's a great thing. If you got to go out of the country, let's support a village.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
So those are the kind of things we're trying to curate. I like to say that every product in my farm to market has a cell phone behind it. Like, what does that mean? Go in the store, point to something. I mean, we have some chips and crackers and things that are, just fill-in items. But all of our jams and jellies, our dairy products, we can pick up the phone and call the producer. We can get the maker of that product on the phone. And that's the same thing we're trying to do with the apparel store. Having relationships whose last name is on the jeans, having relationships with a 5th generation boot maker out of Mercedes, Texas, having a relationship with the family that founded the town and where Nakona Boots was made, and now took up when the boot business went overseas, they put the people to work making a new brand of boots.
I love it.
And that's what we want to support.
So local Yocal butcher shop, local Yocal restaurant, barbecue, Weil Outfitters.
LY Outfitters. Local Yocal.
LY.
No dust on this
be
guy.
a little dyslexic. I don't know. So, all right, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh.
10th anniversary Burress Law picnic benefiting Main Gate.
Main Gate. Love Main Gate. We've both been supporters of Main Gate since before there was a Main Gate. I was at the Main Gate meeting when they were talking about doing it. Great. Well, I love all of our adults with special needs, Hugs, Cornerstone Ranch, Main Gate. Obviously great. Bill Arrington. What do we do? So we usually come out there and cook burgers. Austin Cunningham's are playing music.
I'm gonna drop some news here.
What are we doing?
September 4th.
Ooh.
2021.
Can I tell you how much better I like September 4th than when we do it before? It's always so freaking hot.
Yeah, we've done it July, August, you know it. But we're going to be inside the High Five Arena. So we're going to be under the arena.
That's great news. Shade sounds wonderful to me. All right, we're going to come cook burgers. So with the first time you drugged me out there, my kids came and had a blast, and they still wear their Burress Law Firm caps. Like, people must think we had a lawsuit or something. My cats wear all these Burress Law Firm caps. But I thought, why is everyone in McKinney not here? So you bring out all of these games, and you had a climbing wall, I think, and they were, I don't know what are they doing? We had a pool, and we have it every year where everyone can catch a fish. Yes, the fishing pond.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Face painters. We have a petting zoo.
Live local music.
Austin will be there again. Some younger artists will be there, and then I think we're going to have some big news that I was hoping I would get an email. I'm going to make sure I haven't gotten an email. I'm expecting it
any minute.
And I haven't gotten it.
Tune in next week, same time, same Burress Law channel.
That's right.
For breaking news for Main Gate.
I think we will have a big announcement
2021
for another artist who's going to be there. I have it on good. I have a text message from him saying he'll be there. We'll see. But yeah, I think
George Strait's coming. Oh, I did. I wasn't supposed to say the name. I wasn't supposed to say the name. That it's a maybe. It's just come and see if he shows up.
We'd probably have Willie.
I'm just saying that's the level.
Willie George.
That's the level.
George.
The level of name.
Something like that.
He's a local guy's name spelled differently.
Yeah,
it's fine. He does all the covers.
The deal is we put on the event. We put on the party, meaning
And how much of that money do you keep? I forget.
Zero.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, zero. So we pay for the whole party. And then whatever our friends, family, and guests donate, we at least will double that.
Yeah. No, I'm very impressed. I thought you were an okay guy, but when we went out and saw the Main Gate deal, that's a great thing you're doing. And big respect for that. Big respect for what you're doing.
$129,000 we've donated so far.
Wow.
And the last 2 years has almost been half of that. So the thing is really starting to build some momentum. But to your point, we need more people. We're going to try to have 400 people this year.
All right.
Really get a bunch of people out. So going to be a lot of burgers that have to be cooked.
Come on.
But
we got a lot of grills. We want people out. And so buying local is a big deal. Your donation dollars going local is huge. So I do benefit auctions. I only do benefit auctions for our local groups. I've done a few where people flown me out to California. I'm not interested anymore. I'm not interested in people that are raising big money for things that aren't local. So these when you support these local charities, so Bill Darling retired. No, he didn't retire. This is a guy he could have retired and just went and probably bought a boat and sailed around the world. Don't want to do it. No, they started this. And how much are they paying themselves? Jack nothing. Nothing. Cornerstone Ranch, the Heatons, talented people, could do anything they want. They pay themselves nothing to be the oversight of Cornerstone Ranch. There's just Hugs Cafe, people volunteering, paying themselves nothing.
Doing God's work.
It is right. You don't get the same thing with the big. Here's your clue. If they've got a national television commercial, they might not need your $500 donation. They might not. Right. But $500 would change a life at Main Gate. It would provide, I think, it provide a special needs adult. And it's amazing. The first time I saw these autistic kids getting put on a horse, horses are therapeutic for everyone, by the way. But
totally agree.
These kids that say their first words because they're riding a horse. I mean, yeah, it's chills. Yeah, it's a big deal. Thank you for supporting them. So appreciate it. Absolutely.
And you're getting emotional.
I've got a big place in my heart for adults with special needs, but I was out there when they built that thing, and I'm telling you, I was there, and this kid, they put him up, and he starts high-fiving, he starts talking, and the parents are just a puddle. The kid had never spoken in 9 years on earth. The child had never spoken a word. How do you not get emotional about that? And you're like, wow.
Christina's younger brother.
You know what's wrong? I'm just full. I've drank all this water. It's leaking.
Christina's younger brother not only has Down syndrome, but he's autistic as well.
I didn't know that.
So when he comes in, we take him to Main Gate and he gets to ride, and it is a big deal. You have people at Main Gate, riders who have never walked, who end up walking, who have never talked, who end up talking. And it's hard to explain the power of the horse, and I didn't get it. You have to see it. You have to go up there on a weekend and watch it. It's just too hard to explain, but when they're able to control, an animal that's over 1,000 pounds, and something about the gait of the horse, but it's really fantastic.
Yeah, it
totally therapeutic.
It is amazing. I didn't know you had a brother-in-law's Down. So I had it's really my dad's uncle, but he was close to age of my dad. My dad was Down's Ronnie Sanchez, and he was a part of our family. And so I grew up around adults with special needs. So one of the things that I never had was the stigma. I didn't realize there's a stigmatism against adults with special needs. It's just Ronnie. So that's probably why I do so much with Cornerstone Ranch, Hugs, and then Brookwood in Georgetown, a special needs community there that's much like Cornerstone Ranch, and just amazing. They're special people to be around. They're not adults with special needs. They're special adults.
Agree.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me, man. This has been fun. We need to go grill a steak and drink some whiskey.
That sounds great. Anything else you want to get off your chest?
No, I don't know. I mean, is this confession time? Like what I did in high school?
No.
Well, I appreciate it.
Then at least give the websites, Facebook pages,
everything
locations.
Local Yocal Farm to Market, local Yocal Barbecue and Grill, and coming soon to an antique bank building near you. LY Outfitters. LY Outfitters. All the things. Not
Young
YL.
Life.
LY is in local Yocal.
Local Yocal.
LY Outfitters. And we don't forget to go out and give us love on Google Maps and on Burress Law Firm, and you're going to get a gift card. The gift card you're giving away, they work at all 3 locations. Now, I don't know if there's any small business owners out there. You know how hard it is to have 3 different entities operating 3 different point of sale platforms and get the gift card to work at all 3? That's a miracle, baby. Thank you, Matt Silva. It works for us. Getting that done.
Hey, I really, really appreciate the time. I
Well, thank
appreciate
you.
our relationship.
Thank you
and all
very much.
do
I
for the
appreciate
city
it.
of McKinney.
You're challenging me to lose weight. I got to lose my weight. Catch up with
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope you
Jason.
guys enjoyed it. It was a real pleasure of mine and an honor to bring on Matt Hamilton, who does a whole lot for the city of McKinney, and especially the downtown area. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.